What's going on, Taurus? Welcome to my channel, Alchemist 8. Justin here, and I hope you're having a fantastic week so far. So, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really does mean a lot to me, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Higher Self has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. Now, the theme of this week's monthly spread is going to be love, Taurus. Whether we're looking for love, in love, or just in need of some self-love there, Taurus, this one's for you. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one, so take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, and never force a reading on a situation, okay? So with all that being said, let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed. Gems, feeling lovely. Just good energy all around here, Taurus. Now, Taurus, with this spread, I'm going to be going until Higher Self says stop. We're just going with the flow. And just so you all know, these readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situation, okay? And then lastly, the decks that I'm working with. Okay. Stay cool, Taurus. I'll do the same. This one is the Light Seers Tarot deck. And then this, the other one that I'll be working with is the Anatomy of a Witch Oracle deck. And I'll include links for these decks and other decks that I like down in the description box below. So definitely check that out if you're interested there, Taurus. But Taurus, I feel like we're in this place right now where some of us may be going through a change. You know, I feel like that maybe something has happened in the past where I feel like, let's say for some, I feel like we had thought that possibly we had met the one. You know, maybe there was a union that went down, might have got married, you know, might have done the whole jam, you know, might have been something. I feel like it was something where at the time it all made sense. But then something changed, you know. I feel like that this could have been maybe some kind of weird secret came to light, or maybe there was, however this could have, you know, possibly, you know, gone sideways here, Taurus. I feel like that this is something where we're kind of at this place now. If we've just gotten through like a separation like this, you know, and this doesn't even necessarily have to be like in a marriage type of deal. This could be, I feel like, anyone that because this could have been like someone we were maybe dating that we thought, you know, we were going to spend the rest of our journey with, or, you know, in Taurus, if we're not even looking for love in like a romantic aspect, you know, maybe this is something where like a friendship might have fallen apart, or maybe like family, something may have fallen apart. But I feel like that this is something where now we're in this place of where I feel like we're doubting our instincts. You know, I feel like this, in which I get it, Taurus, took a huge blow to, I feel like maybe for some of us, to like whether we trust our decisions and like in how we like choose to get how to be with people. You know, I feel like that maybe you're just like in this place of doubt because, you know, when we get like the wheel in reverse, you know, things, I feel like that this is signifying like the end of a cycle, you know, where sure, this may have been something, you know, maybe something not ideal might have went down, but it doesn't have to stay in that place, you know. This may have been whatever this tower moment that went down here. This doesn't have to be where this is it, you know, where it's like, okay, well, like I'll never be able to celebrate again. Like, how could I possibly find love? You know, Taurus, this, and I know how this is going to sound, but let's say, for example, we're going through a separation. This is a great, great time for you to focus, to find your wheel here. Make you your destiny. Figure out what happened here. How did this all go down? Was it just like out of the blue, or was this that something that might have that has been building up for a time? But this, even with all the hurt, Taurus, and you take time and be with that, with this Knight of Swords, be mindful about rushing, because sometimes when we're in this place of hurt, sometimes we can, and this is not for everyone, but every now and again, we may want to look for company in order to help assuage this, to kind of help maybe drown our sorrows into another. And Taurus, you got to be careful about how we're kind of spreading that energy like that, because, and it's not to say that you're doing this to be, to hurt another person, but if we're looking for others to heal us, where people can help, but we have to take control of this journey too, Taurus, and we have to get to a place where we can trust ourselves again. Otherwise, it's going to be really just a series of tower moments, Taurus, and that's not me to say that this is like to scare you or anything, or that you'll never find love if we never work on this. But it's going to be one of those things where life is just happening, as opposed to us taking control of tower moments and changing things for ourselves. This is a powerful moment for you, Taurus, to evolve into something, into whatever you want to be. This gives you almost just like a clean slate. This gives you a time to evaluate, what went down. And again, if this is something, if this is like one big relationship, just reflect on that. The High Priestess, when we are in a place of where she's in reverse and we're out of whack, out of sorts, and where we don't even feel like we can trust ourselves, that's primo time. Sit down and meditate. Sit down and maybe get out in nature, possibly. Maybe this might be a time, like if we have like some PTO, or just got some time, just to like take a minute and just kind of disconnect from like in the environment for a second, maybe kind of change up the scenery. But I will say, Taurus, this is going to be a process that it may be uncomfortable understanding at first, and working through this stuff, and we may not want to deal with it. Because even when I'm thinking about this Knight of Swords is Aquarius energy. In Aquarius, where it's not that they're not faithful, Aquarians they have love for society, they have so much love to give. But Taurus, if we try to heal through others, trying to do it that way, it's where it may alleviate things for a time. I feel like it's just putting like a Band-Aid on stuff. It's not getting down to the heart of the matter. And it's not really, we're still putting our destiny in the hands of others, where it's time for us to take the wheel, Taurus. So this is something that, it's gonna be a tough one, Taurus. But even when it's gone down, and what I'm even thinking too with this Aquarius, maybe this is something where maybe if it's not like a long-term thing, maybe we've had like a string of just kind of like duds, just back to back to back to back to back, and we're just like, what's happening? Why is this theme keep going down here? It's another one too, Taurus. It allows us to reflect where, things haven't been going south with these people. It's like, yes, they may have done some things that were not ideal, were unsavory, that turned you off there. But also, Taurus, what do all these people have in common on top of that? They have you in common. And that's not to say that this is your fault, but it is to invite you to look at what ways did you contribute in this relationship. In what ways were we operating at a higher vibration, and when were times when we weren't? When were we operating for maybe lower vibrations? But this, to me, however we've been operating up until now, there's a shift that needs to happen. At least that's what I feel like with this tower popping up here. This is just like tower moments. If they're not tower moments that we're personally creating, as far as like changing things up, like this, because if you know, or if it's not something that we're, you know, that it was a conscious decision, it really does, you know, until the lesson is learned, Taurus, you know, how they're going to keep coming. And granted, they're not always going to be, you know, they're not all, tower moments aren't just like severe all the time. And tower moments aren't bad, you know, even when they happen to us. They're trying to, the fact that this is all here, Taurus, even in reverse, this is where the tower is trying to get you to, where everything is upright, to where you're getting your wheel of fortune, to where you're finding your happiness, your partner, your soul tribe, and that you're strengthening your intuition and that you trust yourself. But if we're not doing actions that reflect that, Taurus, then the tower changes up the scenario. It shifts things up in order for us to take action, because the tower is Mars energy. And where we do want to sit with this, and like I was saying, don't rush this, Taurus, absolutely, be in this energy, but at some point, we want to think about how does the healing process look for us, you know, when we've had a minute and just sort of process, because I get it, you know, when you got something like this that's gone down, you need a second to kind of recoup. Your world's been flipped upside down, I mean, possibly quite literally, I mean, with this little small reversal storm here, the tower leading the way. So, you know, Taurus, know that you can trust yourself, one, because like that's having been in a place, you know, thinking way back, you know, having been in a place where if I wasn't sure, like, you know, where I felt like maybe even like I don't want to say you feel abandoned by your intuition, but, you know, if we're not just feeling as connected to ourselves, it's like we don't even, it's almost just like we're just like on autopilot right now, you know, things are just don't make sense. You might, you know, this to me could give like kind of raw type of feeling, you know, Taurus, you can trust yourself. It's just reflecting on in what ways did we miss the signs, you know, were the signals in front of us, and was it the fact, because Taurus, it could have been the fact that it was just that if this was someone close to you, that maybe we missed the signals here, you know, maybe there was this tower, there had been signs going for a while, and it happens, you know, especially when we're falling, you know, when I'm thinking just like romance, you know, you get in, you meet someone new, and then there's like, if there's a chemistry right off the bat and things, you know, there's these feelings of, you know, talking about futures together and expanding on families and you know, possibly celebrations and your future get-togethers, and then it just all just kind of bam. Yeah, like, you know, yeah, that's tough. But here's another thing too, Taurus. I'm even, you know, even thinking about the planetary energies that you got going down here. You got the moon, because the high priestess is represented by the moon. You got Mars, and then you have Jupiter here. You're gonna, Taurus, you're in the middle of a cycle right now. You know, something has ended, and now you're navigating yourself in this new normal, you know. Or you're adapting, and that's what the moon does. The moon is, she's busy. I'm a Cancer, or my son's in Cancer, and when the moon is, she's traveling in every sign, doing different phases, and I'm saying that is that it's going to take a moment, you know, while we're getting adjusted into this stuff. It's going to take a few cycles to find that high priestess energy again. But Taurus, you will be able to take action again. You know, once we start taking that healing process, you're going to start seeing, you know, what are some things that have been keeping us down? What are some ways that we can grow? And then when we start taking that action, Taurus, now Jupiter's coming into the mix. That's where the fortune, the expansion, the abundance, your love, your higher learning, all of that comes into play here, Taurus. So, whew. Yeah, but that's, you know, because, and again, you know, whether this in love, in friends, family, work, whatever, you know, this is tough. So yeah, take the time and process this more. Let's see what else we got here, Taurus. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. All right, oh man, Taurus. But you know what? I like that because here's what's up. We got the Eight of Swords here, but look at that. We got some transformative energy coming into the mix. Look at this. I love that this card puts on here the death and then rebirth here, because here's the thing, Taurus. While we're talking about that, sometimes when we have situations like this that happen, I'm getting chills. We just focus on the fact that just something awful has happened. That there's just this, the part of us has died. That this is like our lives are over. Whatever this is looking like. But Taurus, at the same time, that's the nice thing about transformation is at the same, even with cycles, Wheel of Fortune, that even when things are ending, at simultaneously something is beginning, because this has opened up a vacuum. If depending on how this may be resonating with you, if it's as big as this is coming across, this is a whole big space has opened up here. And you know what? We might be caught up in that right now. I feel like we just focus on, with this Eight of Swords, we just focus on the nightmare. We get caught up in our heads, like this is like how we see ourselves, but everything is okay, Taurus. This really, and I know it's not going to seem like it when we're in it, but this is beautiful. This is the recipe for an ascension. You know what I mean? This is Scorpio energy, and Taurus, One Mars rules over Scorpio, so that I feel like, the energies are higher self is, there's something cooking up back here, Taurus. This didn't just happen again just cause. But another thing, Scorpio is the exact opposite sign of you, and I feel that sometimes, if something like this happens, we can get so fixated on, again, what's gone down. It's about investing in something different, Taurus, because this is a good time. Got the Seven of Pentacles here. This is a fantastic time to focus on you and to invest in you right now, because that's where all the loving is needed right now, especially going through something like this. This is the time to feed yourself all this love, because the Eight of Swords is a self-imposed prison, because she's not surrounded by crows and tied up and blindfolded. But if we keep telling ourselves that, sword is an anagram for words, and words are powerful. And if we keep telling ourselves that, that things are over, that we'll never get over this, and blah blah, and all of that, the universe doesn't like to make you a liar, Taurus. And that's not, and I know how that may sound, but that's not me. You're in a judgment-free zone here, and the safest space outside of your own. But the universe only puts out what we're manifesting, Taurus. And again, I know that it's tough in the moment, and you have to take some time and process this. But we want to say, as opposed to, like, gosh, everything happens, nothing good's going to happen for me, blah, blah, blah. It's more so, let's ask ourselves some questions. It's like, okay, I'm feeling sad about this. Why did this happen? What caused this stuff? Could I have, and then Taurus, don't just focus on you in all of this, you see, make some notes, because it's like, okay, what, how was this interaction gone down? What are some things that this person did that I liked, and what did I do? What were our pros and our cons? Maybe that's something that might help. But this is going to be a time, Taurus, to really pour, especially if this is resonating with you. Invest in yourself, and because there's new growth that's trying to come from this, Taurus. It's really, these situations don't happen to us to keep us down, even though it may feel like it in that moment. That is not the purpose. This is another thing too. This is Mars and Gemini, and when I think about Mars and Gemini, one, just that placement, just as aggressive as we might be with, like, possibly maybe with like our bringing ourselves down, saying we can't trust our intuition, that we'll never find love, that hot jam, being just as aggressive with trying to lift ourselves up, and I mean that by positive affirmations. This could be, maybe watching like uplifting things, being mindful too, Taurus, when we're going through this energies, being what's around you right now. Because if we're not, that I would, I'm not a fan of ruining a song for you or anything, but we got to be mindful of music is a powerful tool, because I'm just thinking that sometimes when we go through separations and things like that, one of the outlets that we turn to is music. And if the music is, it's one thing if the music is leading you to a transformation, leading you to that, to, getting you talking about promoting healing. But if the music is just staying in that energy all the time, be mindful of that, Taurus, because take it from someone who, I have a musical background. I had made, little sidebar about me, I made an album, I wrote some stuff myself, and I was initially doing it, I was going to release an album, but then I'm kind of glad I pulled back and didn't do it, because I went to listen to it back later, like maybe a few months ago, and it was maybe not this exact situation, Taurus, but I was operating from a hurt place. I was singing from a hurt place. And on top of that, I was jamming to it. And when I was listening back to it later, I was just like, man, all those years that I would jam to this stuff on top of that, celebrating my misery. That's not where we want to get at, Taurus. And that's where I'm saying, be mindful, because when we're jamming to that stuff and we're singing that stuff and that's in our head and it gets stuck in our head, that's what's manifesting, that's what's permeating. When I look around at my environment, that's exactly what was going down, what I was feeling on the inside here. So that's why I say this is very important. But also too, with that Gemini energy, Gemini is about duality, and I feel like that you can again see this as one situation, that this went down, like everything sucks and that life is over, or this went down, how am I going to heal from this? How do I get back to this wheel of fortune here? How do I get back to where I'm listening to, where I hear the signs of my higher self? How do I get harmonious, here? Taurus, how do I fulfill like my heart's desire and my needs? That's where I feel like the focus is going to be right now more. Empress. This to me would be a great time, Taurus. You have the perks, and I was just talking with Libra about that too. You have the perk of being blessed by the Empress, and if you've gotten the Empress with me, I love the Empress. But her energy allows you to nurture yourself, Taurus, and to take care of yourself. The Empress for me is like amongst being abundant and other things, self-care is the biggest thing, because she can't be abundant or anything like that if she's not feeling at her best self, or we're not taking time to heal from these situations here. Let's see what else we got, Taurus. But believe it or not, Taurus, this can be a really good transformative time for you. And I know that it may not feel like it at that moment, but these situations are here. They can really produce something just beautiful can come out of it. When we choose to take that. Yeah, absolutely. When we choose to take that path and start to let go of those things that aren't raising our vibrations anymore. And what I mean by that is that because the cups have to deal with feelings, and when you've had a moment, Taurus, and you've processed this, and you start processing things, we don't drag the situation along with us. We take the wisdom from it, because just like with that story, because sometimes people get so caught up in the stories. Even when I go to tell that story, we just don't focus on the fact that, yeah, I was in it, sure. But I'm talking about, it's the ways that I got out of it. It's being mindful of the music that I was listening to, the things that I would tell myself, that type of things. That's how we let stuff go. And we don't just cling to, it's like, well, yes, because we all Taurus, it may, and listen, it's going to be, of course, different degrees and different in everyone's situation is absolutely different, but on a base level, Taurus, we have all been at a place where we felt that Wheel of Fortune's been in reverse, that there won't be any kind of love or anything for us, that we're all by ourselves, and that we're not feeling where our intuition's lined up, where we can't even talk to higher self, or anyone for that matter. But again, that's not the point. It's okay to get it's okay to get heated up like that. Absolutely. You're allowed to get mad. Feel that, Taurus. Be in that energy. Absolutely. Oh, excuse me. Absolutely. But for you, don't restrain it. I'm living through you, Taurus. But when you've allowed yourself to feel that, Taurus, it's when we start to take that healing process and start to let stuff go here. It's so cathartic. I mean, really, you're gonna start feeling so much lighter. It's gonna be like, have you ever been where you felt sick and it's like you've been like a physical cold, and you've been sick for a while, and then you just happen to be going out one day, maybe you go out, you just happen to be out and about, and you happen to smell something. It's just like, oh my goodness, my sense of smell is back. When did that happen? That's what happens in these situations, Taurus. It's one of those things that's like the healing has happened even though we're not even aware of it. It's just where are we pouring our energy into right now? The Seven of Pentacles, this is one of your cards. This is the Seven of Pentacles. Oh, I want to say it's Saturn in Taurus, but don't hold me on that, Taurus. I gotta look that up or verify that. But let's say for the sake of this story, this is Saturn in Taurus. And right now, Saturn is the planet of restrictions and limitations. Saturn can be kind of like, when you think about he's really dad of the planets, can kind of come off like a bit of a hard ass. But it's not meant to keep you down. It's meant to bring some things to light. Yo, Taurus, that cup we've been hanging on to for a while? Let's let that go. And I don't even know if you can see in this, there are other cups here that have already sank at the bottom of this water here. It's just like picking which ones make sense. You don't have to tackle all this in a day, Taurus. It's just, starting to take just some sort of momentum towards it. And then I find, especially you being a fixed sign, fixed signs, and you look at that, you got Scorpio to support that. Even with fixed signs, and Aquarius to support that. Look at all the support you have. But with fixed signs, when you do, I feel like if you were to hone in on your healing, it's one of those things when a fixed sign sets their heart on something, they're going to get it done. Scorpio energy, people like to, they'll say like, Scorpio energy is so intense, or, it can be this, but healing can be intense. And when we're focusing on that, yes, we want to be hyper focused on that, because we're trying to get down to, because we're not focused on the death, we're focusing on the rebirth more. Okay, but let's get to your oracle cards here so I can get you out of here, Taurus, and do some, get some healing. Oh man, because you got the witch lungs in reverse starting us out here, Taurus. And the witch lungs, this could be just on a simple, just getting out, and I get, weather permitting, like if we're, if we can't, but even if we can't get outside, Taurus, maybe even like if it's chilly, I get it, but like maybe crack a window, get some fresh air kind of coming through, something to. I find that when we start in things like this, the best way, or like a really good way, I won't say the best way, a really good way, I feel like, to get over or start to learn and heal from old situations here is to start bringing some freshness. Maybe go through your closet if this was like a separation, maybe going through some old clothes, and maybe if we have something where it's like, if we had like an old suit from like an ex or something like that, or I don't know why you got a suit from them, but maybe we want to just donate that, maybe something along those lines, or Or maybe even Taurus, this could be maybe even going on like a vacation or something along those, going on a road trip, something to maybe even change up your environment. Because sometimes too, when we're even in our safe space, if we're in a certain type of energy and we've been just sort of like wallowing in that, and it permeates in that room, and sometimes it's just nice to get out of that, out of your, even like your own kind of energy for a second, and breathe just some more new stuff here, Taurus. You got the new moon here in reverse, and I feel like that this is when we're talking about cycles, you're getting ready to start a new cycle, and and I get it. We may not feel like you may not want to move, like it's just this. I get it, but just like the wheel keeps moving, Taurus, and the world keeps moving, the planets, all of that, we keep moving too, more. And the thing too, Taurus, where yes, maybe this old memory, was not ideal, but when we start healing, start taking steps towards new, then we're making new memories, and we're filling in voids for that anymore. Here, let's switch back over here, Taurus. Oh, where am I at? Okay. Last little card here. You got the experience in reverse. And I find that this is something where there are going to be some experiences in life, Taurus, that inevitably they may catch us off guard. It's and that, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. That can suck sometimes, and I get it, but it you see how they got the young hand and the old hand here, where it may have hurt at first, Taurus, and we may not want to feel it, we may not want to, and that's something to be mindful of too, Taurus. I just think with your sign, Sun, Moon, Rising, Taurus, you are earth signs. You're more in tune with the material realm than the rest of the elements, especially if you have like a high concentration of earth. And I only bring that up to say that, be mindful of escapism as well, that, because I was just saying we may not want to experience that, but Taurus, if you numb it, more tower moments are going to come, and again, it's not me to scare you, it's just facts, tower moments, because that's not the point, that's not what higher self is trying to do. And I get it, it was just like, well, why would something so awful, Taurus, it's all going to make sense with experience. And I'll tell you what, one thing, what if I had to respond to why so awful, is to make you so compassionate. And not that you aren't, but it makes you compassionate and it helps you grow. And it really could even make you a teacher, Taurus, or someone you could become like a healer or something. You could turn something beautiful into this, because like I was saying earlier, we may not go through the exact same situations, but we've all experienced this level to some degree. And sometimes it's nice, thinking back, if you're going through this moment right now, it's like, wouldn't it be nice to have someone with some experience to kind of help guide you through this, to kind of help you walk through, like, okay, you may feel feelings of this, you may be upset one day, and you may cry one day, and then you may be good, and then the next you're up here, and then you're gonna be down here. But you could be that person for someone else, you could be that person that raises their vibration, and then Taurus, I find that with time, it all makes sense in the grand scheme of things. It really does, and I really hope that that this makes sense, and that that you are in a judgment-free zone, in the safest space outside of your own, and that and know too, because Taurus, this is energy that you bring me. So if again, if you're resonating with this, this is I always, I don't take that the energy for granted. I'm not trying to do stuff to try to keep you in something or try to sell you false hope, or anything like that, but this is very vulnerable stuff. So understand that I to some degree, Taurus, unless we'll sit down and talk about it someday, but I do get it, Taurus. And let me be an example that it can get better. Absolutely. So whew, I'll leave it there, Taurus. That was heavy, and it's going to get better, because even believe me, the fact that this stuff is even here just shows me that we can work on it. It just, but if you resonated with something, Taurus, I know it sounds weird, but give it a thumbs up, just so that I can just, send some more love out there, because it's tough when it feels like that we're going through this by ourselves, Taurus. That could be why we give it a thumbs up, just so that we just know that we're not alone in this, because we are all Taurus with these witch lungs. We all breathe the same air. We're all connected in some way, shape, or form. So, even when I was think about when I made this channel, the whole point was just to, for all of us to band together and to figure out, to gain experiences and to start new beginnings and to learn this stuff together. So know that you have, that even though I may not be there physically for you, Taurus, bringing the energy here, and share this, Taurus. If you know someone who's going through this, that almost got me a little bit. Share that. See, the Cancerian's coming out in me, but share this, Taurus, because that is a lot. It's a lot, and it's a lot to go through, especially if we feel like if we're not even sure if we have a support system, in place. So that's something to think about. And then if you haven't already, subscribe, hit that bell button. You get notified when I release videos each week. Social media. Let's get let's liven the energy up a little bit, because Bet still ain't posting anything on social media. I'm getting there. I have an Instagram. I've noticed people are following me. I should probably start. Do you follow others? I'm making it way harder than I'm sure it needs to be. I'm getting it together. But I have an Instagram. I have a Facebook. So follow me there. My main focus that I've been on right now is that I've been working with this app Insight Timer for years. And Taurus, if we're going through something, that's a good app to work with. That's got me through some tough times, meditation and stuff. So, and they have ambient, but when I was talking about music, they have these really nice, really amazing healing music, and they have different stuff, different teachers, different guided meditations. Absolutely love it. And we're not in kind of partnership or anything. I just feel like if we have tools that we've accumulated from experiences, Taurus, that's why we share this stuff, so we can raise the vibration. And I made a group called Zodiac's Raising the Vibration, and it's just a little spot that feel free to join, and it's just a place to drop little positive affirmations, whether they're your own or something that you happen to come across, any encouraging messages, anything along those lines, just any little things, just little nuggets of just positivity to just lift us up a little bit, Taurus. And down the line, I was telling Libra I want to do something with your ruler inspired. I love the Empress. You're just your energy, Taurus. But as the group grows, I want to do a thing where we're scheduling maybe, different group meditations, and I want to call them self-care with the Empress, and just something fun, just anything to just bring us together and just to, yeah, Taurus. And then what else? Oh, lastly, I hope that a Cancer did not do this, or was not involved in this. But, you got the High Priestess here, and you got lunar shenanigans with the new moon. So, but if you have Cancer in your placement, Taurus, and even if we're dealing with a Cancer, bring them on over to the Chariot and Friends. I do videos Monday through Friday there. It's just a place for Cancerians, you know, process all these complex feelings and ever-changing emotions. And, you know, we talk about the high priestess all the time and yeah, the moon. And it's a good old time, Taurus. And all that housekeeping, down in the description box below. But let me get you a surprise card so I can get you out of here. Oh, man. I'm with it. And you'll see why I'm with it in a second. You got the Knight of Cups here, for starters. More Scorpio energy. Huh. And then we got a Serpent here for the win. Lovely. Taurus, you got a lot of transformative stuff going down here right now. I'm thinking with the Serpent, this is shedding that old skin, you know, and it's uncomfortable sometimes, you know, when we're going through that transition and we're going through changes. It's, you know, sometimes we gotta, even when you think about how snakes shed their skin, sometimes they gotta like rub up against some things to get some excess stuff off there. It's not always just like a smooth transition, you know. We might have some little rough patches, but there's something that's trying to grow from here, Taurus. There's a new improved you that's coming out of this Taurus, that is intuitive, that is fortunate, that will find happiness. But in order to do that, Taurus, it's taking steps. The Knight of Cups for me is is when his heart is not feeling right, you know, when his heart's been broken or when he's hurting, he's going to find a way to pour so much love. He's going to do as much loving things as he can to heal, to get back right, because the Knight of Cups doesn't know how to operate when out of love. You know what I mean? When there's not that like head heart connection. Look at that air and water here. When there's not that head and heart connection, maybe we understand the feelings, but our mind is still kind of processing it. Then we don't move. Then he doesn't know what to do. He's not pouring love out anywhere right now. That whole thing is to say that he's focusing it all here, Taurus. So you and Libra, you know, now yours is definitely a lot heavier. So you more so in particular, take this time whenever you have moments and really self-care, Taurus. Empress until you can't no more, then go to bed, and then get back up, and then Empress some more. Take a picture of the Empress. You know what? Got another tarot deck sitting here, and it's funny enough. The Empress, she's the big queen. The Empress, look at this, Taurus. You get a little bonus. Look at this, Taurus. Like, you see how we're pouring love in? The Empress has always been here. Like, even, like, I just thought about that. This is a deck from someone else, but Taurus, take some time and take care of yourself in all of this, and heal in all of this, because you are strong. You are powerful. She's got to be one of the strongest empresses that I've seen in any deck. You are strong. You're grounded. You're beautiful. You're fun. You know, you're abundant, and remind yourself that. Thank you, Big Queen. Remind yourself that. You know, you look at that. You got a little extra surprise, because Taurus, this is what I'm talking about. You're abundant. You're abundant. It's just, I know that was small, but I hope that helps. So, all right, I'll leave it there, Taurus. It says I feel your energy. You're trying to get me choked up, and I'm not today, Taurus. I'm staying strong. I'm following your lead there, you big queen. I love that, you Empress. But stay safe out there, Taurus. Where we at? Yeah, let me get you out of here. You stay safe out there, and with this energy, Taurus, if this resonated with you, this is me taking your arm around me, I'm gonna help you raise that vibration, Taurus. We're gonna Knight of Cups this thing until we get you back feeling like a mighty high priest. And you're just a high priestess, empress. Look at you. You're just so, Taurus. So great. Just lovely. And I will catch you on the next one later.